What's up, basement dwellers? Welcome to another edition of the Jersey Phanatics. I'm Chris, the Dace man Dace, and joining me in a full house edition of the Jersey Phanatics, Mr. Erik Barezzo, back from assignment.
We're back!
And Mr. Tyler Freed, who decided not to go on another assignment.
Yeah, I didn't go back to Japan this time.
So we're going to talk about a couple topics today. Some news happened in our break from last Wednesday to this Wednesday. We're going to talk about the people who were eligible for arbitration and what happened with them. What happened to Senor Hoffman from our bullpen, where he ended up landing, and then the non-roster invitees for spring training, because spring training is less than 30 days away. I don't know the exact number, but
hell yeah, baby.
Whatever it is, -1, because we're recording the day before this drops. All right, so let's talk about arbitration. So there were 6 Phillies that were eligible for arbitration this year. Ranger Suarez, Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, Edmundo Sousa, Alec Boehm, and then newly acquired Jesus Luzardo. They came to terms with all of them. Ranger got $8.8 million. Jesus got $6.225 million. Stott got $3.2. Sosa and Marsh both got $3, and Alec Boehm got $7.7. So, just out of curiosity, imagine he's going to jump back in. Erik, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on the way that the arbitration landed? You and I had some brief text messages back and forth that I don't think Ranger should have been the top paid out of that group. But what were your thoughts on the arbitration dollars?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked, like you said, about where the money all came in on. But I was happy that they were all able to get a deal done, and it wasn't really going to arbitration like the
trial or the hearing.
Yeah, whatever the hell it's called, in order to actually get the more money that happened with what's that dude's name that went to Chicago?
Oh, God, Kyle Tucker, where they just said, all right, $5 million off of what he had asked for.
Yeah. So it was nice that we're able to come to agreement with all the players that were actually arbitration eligible. I still think that they came to the agreement with Boehm, especially. I still think they're going to try and trade him, though.
7.7 could make him appealing to another team.
Yeah.
Tyler, what did you think about the dollar amounts with Ranger getting 8.8, Boehm 7.7, then the rest kind of getting 3, except for Jesus, who got 6.2?
I mean, it seems reasonable for what they've done. I mean, you always think that these guys, when they come up, they're already making millions. But we've kind of gotten Stott, Boehm, and Marsh at a discount for the past couple of years for the production that they kind of have produced, especially with how well they've can play. I shouldn't say have played, but can play. And the whole, I mean, obviously they're still tradable assets after they get these contracts. It's not like they're signing their big league, $50 million contracts or whatever we gave Scott Kingery kind of contracts.
Right.
These are still well under the that kind of contract dollar amount. So it's completely reasonable.
It is shocking though that Ranger got the most, just with how his season really.
It was like a 1-2 punch there too. He got the most in arbitration, and days before that, he signed Scott Boras as his agent. So he is not going to be fun next off season.
Well, I mean, Ranger got the most because realistically, he's shown the most potential. Like, he's shown that out of all the players, except for maybe Boehm, he can be the most, the better asset. Plus, pitchers just get paid more. That's just, they, for whatever reason, their salaries are just higher. But that's basically what it goes off of. They pick a number they seems reasonable off of people that are, comparable. And, the Phillies are going to try to match it with something a little bit lower. And if they do go to hearing, it's usually well, hey, this is what the average player gets paid. This is what you're going to get paid. And the Phillies have to listen to that. So
as long as his family's not here, he's going to be a Cy Young caliber player again.
No, he's not. I'm going to still harp on it. Ranger Suarez to the bullpen. Put him in.
I think he's best there too. Yeah.
Put him in the bullpen.
The other interesting note about that happened with arbitration was the last holdout was Sosa. So the other 5 got done the same day. Sosa carried over to the next day and didn't get signed till a couple hours before the deadline. Do you think they lowballed him, or do you think he
Probably.
came in and way too high?
What was it? What was his compared to the rest of them?
He got $3 million, like Marsh, and Stock got 3.2. The other guys got
Fucking-
higher than 6.
My man got overpaid to be a bench player. Like, I mean, Stott and Marsh can say that they actually start.
Mhm.
Sosa just fills in. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess they probably did lowball him, and then they really didn't want to go to arbitration, so they probably tried to just match it up, up at a certain point.
Or do you think you have a $3 million third baseman when Bohm gets his ass shipped off somewhere?
I can't see if we're shipping Bohm somewhere. We're not getting Bregman. Like that's the if Bohm's getting traded, we're either getting another third baseman or we're getting Bregman.
Yeah.
I don't think Sosa's a. I mean, yeah, I don't think Sosa would be the ideal. Like, hey, you're going to be our third baseman.
He may not be ideal, but like I said before, when we won our World Series in 2008, nobody talks about Pedro Feliz.
Peter Happy? I talk about him all the time.
He's a Thursday night combo, man. If we did the show on Thursday, we'd be doing highlights on him. It'll be the next Jersey Fanatic focus.
I can't talk about the 2008 Phillies without talking about my boy Peter Happy. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I got nothing for that. So let's move on for arbitration. With these gains, or rather these keeping the status quo, we unfortunately did hit a loss. Jeff Hoffman signed with the Toronto Blue Jays for what, $33 million for 3 years?
Who the fuck cares? Fuck him.
That's fair. It was sad at first, and then reports kept coming out that eventually he tried to sign with the Orioles for a higher price, failed their physical, and then the one that really put the nail in the coffin is that he tried to sign a 5-year deal with the Braves and also failed their physical.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, so it sounds like he was definitely going for the money in the years. I'm curious if the Phillies knew about his injury, or just knew.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they knew about it because of what he turned into at the end of the year. Like he was Mr. Clutch majority of the year, and then all of a sudden he kind of fell off the cliff, kind of like what Ranger went through.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the playoffs, like all of a sudden they started turning to freaking Estevez more, and he wasn't very good at all in clutch situations at all. And you're always wondering why the hell are we not using Hoffman? But hey, now you figured out that that may have been the reason, is that we didn't use him because he was potentially injured.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was the real reason. I just think they wanted to use Estevez because you don't trade that many assets for a guy and not try to use him. Yeah. I mean, I think they don't re-sign him because they knew about the injury, because every player goes through an end-of-year physical. So it probably popped up on that physical. Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah, maybe we won't re-sign you for this much. And that's probably why you didn't hear any chatter on him, because they just didn't even bother with him because they knew that this was going to be a serious problem, I guess, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then did him a solid by not saying anything?
Listen, I'm going to say fuck this guy, but maybe he was really just trying to fuck the Braves. Like, maybe he knew the extent of his injury and was just like, well, I'm going to cash out on these motherfuckers. Like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to have a real bad shoulder and they're going to pay me for 5 years and I'm maybe going to pitch 30 innings out of the 5 years.
Well, the Blue Jays went and took a chance on him. So he was apparently there before. Yeah,
he was there like early in his career, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We just swapped relievers. We took their Romano and they took our Hoffman.
Sounds about right.
Cool
so goodbye, Mr. Hoffman. Good luck, I guess, in Toronto. Kind of shitty you trying to go to the Braves. Glad you didn't end up on the Mets. But that does leave a kind of a gap. Are we done in the bullpen, or are we still chasing Estevez and Tanner Scott? Again, I've said it on Twitter. I think we've said it here on the show. I would just die if Tanner Scott becomes a Met.
I will lose my shit if we don't do anything in the bullpen. Like, we can't go into the season with this as our bullpen. Who's our closer right now?
Tentatively Romano, I guess.
Or Alvarado.
Fucking Alvarado. Yeah, we're really going to rely on the guy that we kept pitching in the 6th inning to be our closer this year.
Hey, he lost like 15 pounds allegedly this offseason.
Fucking great. I saw Alec Boehm put on 15 pounds of muscle and then still not hit home runs. So, like, I'm not really worried about the weight you do or don't lose. Fucking CC Sabathia used to pitch like a monster while he was fat as fuck. So, I don't care.
Got some double cheeseburgers on the way.
Just give me a real closer. Like, that's it. You need to have a real closer on this roster. Romano is not a real closer. He's a good setup man, especially at this point in his career. Give me Estevez. Give me Tanner Scott. I don't care. Go trade for someone if you're going to trade for someone. But we need a real closer.
Yeah. Do you think go ahead. I was going to say, who do you think's more likely, Estevez or Tanner Scott?
I think Estevez is going to come back, and I think Scott, unfortunately, is going to go to the Mets. It seems like that's where the fire is really picking up over there. You know, they always say where there's smoke, there's fire, and everyone keeps predicting that Estevez is coming back. I don't think that, like you said, all the prospects that we ended up trading away, that we're just going to let Estevez walk for nothing, at least not try anyway. So I think they're going to try and bring him back. I think he is our priority, and I think, unfortunately, we lose out on Scott. Because I would prefer Scott over him.
Fuck it. I think we get both of them. I think they're like, oh yeah, screw it. I think it's like how they dealt with Schwarber and Castellanos, where it was just like, oh yeah, we're not getting Casty. Like, that wasn't going to be a thing. And then we signed Schwarber, and then like fucking hours later, they're like, oh yeah, we signed Castellanos too, or whatever it was. It was like very
back-to-back days. It was really close.
Yeah, it was really close. Yeah.
So, like, I think it's like one of them deals. Like, there's no way. Like, I mean, I understand we signed Romano, but we signed him to a fairly cheap deal. And we lost Hoffman, and didn't we lost? Well, I mean, technically, we're in the middle with Estevez, but like, yeah, we haven't improved the bullpen, and that was an issue. So I don't see how you just go because at the very least, Romano and Hoffman are in equal spot. If it's not, the other way around, where we're losing on that deal. So you need to, if it's Estevez, sure, great, but I still think we need Tanner Scott, especially with the way this motherfucker, Rob Thompson, likes to run a bullpen and just throw anyone out there in the ninth inning. If you're going to throw anyone in the ninth inning, you might as well have multiple guys that can do it.
I think I think what I saw on Twitter too is I believe that they said that there was only 2 bullpen arms that are on the roster now that were on the roster opening day of last year, which is crazy to me.
Strom and Kirkring?
Maybe 3 then, Alvarado.
I don't think Kirkring was on opening day roster.
No, he might not. Yeah, he might not have been.
He was injured, wasn't he?
He was on the IL to start the season.
Yeah. So there was just 2. So yeah, because I thought they said 2. So it was just the Alvarado and Strom. That's it.
So while we're still talking free agency, 2 free agents that are kind of, I guess, some of the big fish that are left. Santander and Jack Flattery said that they would take short-term deals. I don't think we would go after Flattery just because we have 7. We got a pretty full starting rotation and stuff to pick from internally. Do you think we make a move for Santander for 2-year, $20 million each year contract or something like that?
Personally, I think if he's going to come in on a 1-year deal, sure, but I don't think they go anything more than 1. Like, I think if he's willing to do a 1 year, why not? But if not, I mean, you already signed an outfielder. We're kind of in, like a log jam of outfielders, depending on how you want to look at it. So I mean, I'm sure, fucking do it if they want to do it. Like, I don't care. The better, the more talent you put out there, the more likely it is someone's going to be successful.
I think that's kind of where I'm leaning to, is that everyone that they sign from now on is going to be just a 1-year deal, unless it's like a Tanner Scott or an Estevez. I think those 2 are the only ones that you could potentially get for like 2 or 3 years. Would be the only thing that I would say. But everyone else, I think they would only offer the 1-year deals too, just because of all the money that is potentially coming off the books next year. So I think they want to reload and get ready to reload.
Make a big move in 2026?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. When it comes to free agency, anybody else out there? I mean, Bregman is obviously a topic of conversation if Bohm were to leave. Anybody else you think is gonna touch?
I, the Phillies are staying put. I think
Mhm.
just they're going to roster like we said last week. The only moves I think are trades. If we do anything, because you're not going to sign someone to compete with one of the guys that you already have started. Like you already kind of did that when you signed Max Kepler or whatever the hell his name is,
Mhm.
to compete for an outfield position. So you're not going to sign another guy out there necessarily, unless you can get like a Santander who's fucking going to just start over everyone.
Yeah,
Um,
and then make 4 people fight for center.
yeah, which isn't going to happen because Kepler's not going to be a center fielder.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't see anything outfield wise happening unless, like I said, trade. Um, yeah, I mean the only thing I can see is Bregman. He's really the only one that's like been linked to us. They've been all about it and see him coming here, but that's obviously contingent on them having a move for Bohm.
Okay,
Yeah, the
fair.
only other, besides the third baseman is just going for those bullpen arms. Like you have the minor players, as in like Maton and the couple other the minor players like that, but you can't go into the season with what they're at now. And like if you look at it offensively, they have a good team, like on paper, but the problem is the consistency. So I think if you're able to figure out that, the team is definitely a World Series team, but you
Mhm.
just have to be able to, I don't know, figure out exactly how to get this team. And maybe Kepler is the missing piece to be able to break up certain spots and you change up the lineup and do things like that. But yeah, you're either the only positions that they're going for, I believe, are either going to be that third baseman Bregman, or it's going to be like the
Bullpen
small
additions.
ton and stuff like that. Not anything major.
I
That
do
makes
think
sense.
we're going to see some, I guess, minor league deals get done because this is the time of year that everyone's like, oh, well, I'm not going to get signed to a major league roster, so I'll go minor league, that kind of deal. This is where, like, a David Dahl or, like those kind of players. I could see us signing a pitcher in that notion, like a starting pitcher,
Yeah.
because, I mean, we've seen it year after year where we have to bring up, a Kobe Allard or, all these young guys or minor leaguers. We have to bring them up for an extended period of time.
Well, that's even how Hoffman started. He was a minor league addition, and then all of a sudden he pitched to Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper loved him and moved him up.
Well, that's something that I feel like Dombrowski's done well over the time that like he's been in charge, is signing those like minor league deals and then bringing those guys up. Like Andrew Bellotti, yes, he didn't work out in 2023, but when he came up in 2022, he was very good for us. He was a very good pitcher. He was a big piece of that bullpen.
Yeah.
Um, so like those little like you need those little additions so you can bring them up, at a time of need.
Yep.
All right. So before we roll into our, I guess, final topic for the evening, since it's kind of a light story week when it comes to news because they aren't making any moves in the offseason, there was a release of MLB predictions for World Series and World Series wins. And the one that stood out to me, well, there was a couple that stood out to me, like the fact that the Athletics and Twins were going to win one down the road. But the Phillies were going to win the 2027 World Series against the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, there's a couple things wrong with that. Tampa is a high school team right now. And then follow that up with who the hell would be on the Phillies in 2027, considering the core of this current team would be entering free agency or off the books. JT, Kyle, Castellanos. I think Zach might be in his final year at that point. It wouldn't be what we have today. So, one, where the hell did they get this prediction? And two, do you think we're going to miss out the next couple of years and have to wait till 2027?
Well, even with their prediction, I think on one of the websites with that prediction, I think it was 2027 as well, but they ended up predicting the lineup, and the lineup was like Aiden Miller, Starling,
Kaba? Who's not here anymore?
Otto Kemp, like all the people from our minors. They literally took our AAA team and put them on the majors. Like that ain't gonna happen. Like Dombrowski is gonna sign people. He's gonna trade people. So that's none of those people. Not all of them anyway are gonna make it to the majors.
Mm-hmm.
So it's there's no way for them to be able to predict. It's just kind of like how they want to make money with clicks and also with future bets and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I feel like those predictions are just based off of people's, farm systems, saying that, like, listen, we do have a pretty good farm system right now. We have a lot of young talent coming up. I mean, if you think about it, Aiden Miller would be what? He'd be pretty much ready, like if not ready this year, next year. So he'd be in year 2, possibly 3, depending, up in the majors. Justin Crawford, he would probably be close behind.
He
So,
just
like,
turned 21 yesterday.
These guys that they're projecting, if they go where they're projected, I can totally see that, because you are right, Dombrowski is going to add, we are going to spend, but if you're going to have guys that are supposed to be really good to complement them, like a Bryson Stott, like Alec Bohm, like these young guys that we already have, to complement the veterans that we may go out and sign in a couple of years. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't win it. I mean, I don't see why we couldn't win it this year. I don't see why we couldn't win it in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are in a fairly good spot. To like it, this isn't. I don't see us being the the 2008, the late 2000 team where we're just completely fucked for years. Like I mean, I'm really hoping we can get one, but I don't think we're going to be stuck in that like weird purgatory where we just suck for several years. I think we're just going to be hopefully really good and win a bunch of World Series, but. I project we'll be pretty good into the 2030 seasons.
I mean, you got Harper till what, 31, and Dre till 33, and Nola
Yeah.
to 2050.
I mean, I feel like we have Harper until he just retires.
Yeah. So I just thought it was an interesting poll. They did get a little ridiculous in the 30s. Like again, they had the Athletics, and like I think the World Series was like the Athletics versus the Rockies. It was something weird and like just off-putting.
Oh, also I mean, it's not that weird for the Rays to be good in 2 or 3 years. They always do that shit where they
Fire
just
sale
offload a
and then
bunch of
bounce
it.
back.
Fire sale, and then 3 to 5 years later, they have this ridiculous young core that they're just fucking lighting everyone up. They have really good stretch through the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
For a couple of years, and then they realize that it's not enough. And rather than just signing a player to bring in to push them over the top, they just sell everyone and then start over because fuck it, why not?
Yeah, it's a stretch. I mean, look at the Mets. And they weren't. Last year was supposed to be a rebuild year.
Yeah, I didn't like what they in that same projection. They had the Mets winning like next year, I believe. Fuck
So
that.
That was another thing that came up on MLB.com. Was a story of like division winners for 2025, where they pretty much just suspect like the Dodgers are going to win, the Yankees are going to win, like the repeat division winners, the Brewers, and basically named the National League East the hardest division right now, if you exclude the Marlins, because the Nationals are kind of a sneaky young team that could
They're
break
still
away.
suck. No.
I do think they'll still come in fourth. The Mets obviously went out, got Soto. They're doing the big spending again. I assume Pete's going to sign back there. The Braves are the Braves. If they stay healthy, I think they're going to give us a run. And then there's us, who are the defending NL East champions, and on paper should be the best team in the league. What are your thoughts? Do you think we take the division again this year, or are we going to be fighting for a wild card?
No, I think it's wild card.
What are you, silly?
I think it's wild card. I think the Braves are going to be a lot better. I think they're going to win the division again.
You're setting a
Fuck
low
the
bar,
Braves,
so you're not
bro.
disappointed at the end of the year.
No, it's just I know what the Braves are, and I think they're going to be better than us.
No.
Do they have
Why would they be
starting?
better than that?
Do they have starting pitching aside from Strider, who's coming off of what, Tommy John's?
Tommy John, yeah.
Strider,
They have a couple good players coming up too, just like us.
I don't think Acuna's healthy, is he? Acuna?
I mean, he'll be back mid-season, but no,
Yeah.
I don't think the Braves win it. I think we win the division again. I think I don't know. I don't think I think this division is going to be less competitive this year.
I think the Mets give us a run for our money.
No, I honestly, and this isn't even just my hatred for the Mets. It's
Mhm.
I think the Mets were a fucking Cinderella team last year. They weren't supposed to be that good. They're
Yeah.
not going to be that good. They rode a fucking hot wave of pitching that they won't have. They already lost Servino.
Mhm.
Fucking Sean Manaea, listen, dude, he worked on a mechanic. He got something figured out. Guys have been working all offseason looking at what the fuck he was doing. He's not going to be as good. He's not good at adjusting like that.
Yeah.
Manaea, he went to the Padres.
He went back?
No, I thought he re-signed with the Mets. Manaea came from the Padres. I don't think he signed with them.
I thought he signed with the Padres.
No, because last week me and Dace looked up the Padres and they hadn't done
Nope.
shit.
He reunited with Soto in
Mets. Okay.
Yep. That
Yeah, so
they
he
literally
re-signed.
just re-signed him. Oh, where the hell is the date on this damn thing? Oh,
Okay.
He's pretty not early, but he signed in December.
Yeah, he's I don't know why I was thinking Padres.
Yeah, I mean, because probably your pitcher from Japan is looking to sign with them.
Sasaki. Yeah, I know.
Roku.
Roku.
That's what we call him on here since he's not giving us a look.
No, but genuinely, I think the Mets are. I'm not gonna say they're gonna suck, but they're not gonna be as good. They're not gonna be as competitive as they were last year. Like, yeah, they added Soto, but like, okay, cool. Like Soto's one player.
It just hit it.
Whenever
You'll get the run back.
Listen, they're gonna whenever they sign Alonso, because ultimately I think he will. He's not gonna play as good. He'll get his payday. Like, unless they sign him to another 1-year prove-it deal, which I doubt they will. Only way he'd sign that is if he goes somewhere else.
I'm surprised he hasn't signed yet.
There's a story out there that he offered the Mets a deal, or offered Mets like, hey, I'll give you guys this short-term deal, but he's not offering it to other teams. I was reading it because I was kind of curious as to why he didn't sign yet when it comes to
He's
first
just
base.
waiting. He's one of those players. I don't know if he has Scott Boras, but he's one of those. Hey, I'm gonna wait till fucking spring training because I don't want to do spring training kind of players. Where like, whatever. Like, I'll wait this long. I already know I'm gonna like. He probably has a deal with the Mets. Like, listen, if I don't sign anything, this is the deal we're gonna sign, and he's probably cool with that deal. But he's gonna try to play other teams to see if he can get a better deal.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, I mean, he probably won't. He'll probably re-sign with the Mets, and then. I mean, I'd be so happy if he just got a ridiculous amount of money to go play for like the White Sox or something. So I never have to see his stupid fucking face.
Such a punchable face.
Listen, I know I put out the ridiculous scenario of him signing with the Phillies last episode, but it's not going to happen. But
That was
it'd be
just
kind
you
of
going
fun.
for the shock value.
Oh, absolutely. But it'd be fucking insane if you did, though.
It'd be fun to have that power in there.
But the face. You have to look at
Listen,
that
dude.
face.
You don't have to look at the face, though, because you just be like, wow, all right, cool. I already know what's about to happen. You can fucking change the channel for an at-bat, you know? Like anyone else, you're like, oh, I want to watch it. But like that guy, you just don't have to pay attention. It's fine.
Then that's two people on the team I don't have to pay attention to. And we all know who
Listen,
the other guy is.
you pay attention to Kyle Schwarber because you love him, all right? You have a jersey and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have a jersey.
Not by choice. Not by choice. Not
I
by
don't
choice.
even have a Kyle Schwarber jersey.
I went out and got a Wheeler one.
There's no proof that you didn't buy that Schwarber jersey.
I don't care if you did or didn't. You've worn it, so it's fine. There's a picture of you wearing it. Okay.
There is, and I, he hasn't played well since then. So you're welcome.
Listen, someone bought me a Babe Ruth T-shirt one time, and that shit just hung in my closet. I'm not gonna, it's Babe Ruth, but like it's Yankees. I'm not wearing Yankees. Fuck that.
I'm an equal opportunist.
But anyway, Phillies winning the division. That's the moral of the story.
So wild card winning the division. I think they win the division as well. Yeah, I don't see.
You don't sound so convinced on that. I don't like that.
I do think the Mets are going to give them a run for their money, and I just hope they don't play September ball like they play September ball because I don't think they can afford it this year.
Nah, man, this is like I don't know. This is like regular season. I'm not gonna talk postseason because it wasn't a good postseason either.
Mhm.
But this is like the 2012 Phillies where we just fucking destroyed everyone. Like we're gonna go on a run. I think we're gonna go on a run, and we're gonna continue the run throughout the season. Like it's not gonna be like that second half tail off. I just hope they continue that in the postseason.
It'd be nice. We did talk about the step down last year, and it happened. But the last thing we're going to talk about tonight, there was a bunch of non-roster invitees that are to spring training, since that's less than 30 days away. They invited 4 catchers: Josh Burrow, Peyton Henry, Paul McIntosh, and Caleb Ricketts. Infielders, our buddy Rodolfo Castro, Mint Mobile expert, Otto Kemp, Rafael Latingua. I butchered that. Oh, his last name's Miller. No, it's not. They have a typo. Aiden Miller and Carson Taylor. Outfielders J.P. Crawford and Gabriel Raconis Jr.
Crawford.
Justin Crawford? It's not
JP's
JP?
is dead.
Oh, well, whatever. Oh, that guy's probably Justin, too, so fuck it. Utility player Matt Kroon.
J.P. Crawford was our old shortstop that we traded to Seattle.
Oh, yeah. True.
They all...
Justin was his dad as well.
Just going to call him the Crawdad, then.
Whatever.
Right-handers... Come on, that's not a name.
Or Carl Crawford was his name, I think.
Nabel Chrismat, Jose Cowles, Joel Kunal, Griff McGarry, John McMillian, Nicholas Padilla, Andrew Painter, Austin Schulfer, and Guido Zuninga.
I love that you're nailing the white names.
Oh, absolutely. We're a white organization. Why do you think I fell on the Phillies team? So all those other people are just not going to make it. And then left-handers Tristan Garnett and Nick Vespi. Both probably white guys. What are you looking forward to?
Isn't there another one at the end? Something Kroon or whatever?
Matt Kroon, infielder, outfielder.
Yeah, I had him as the utility.
Yeah. He's my my sneaky roster make it. I think he makes the roster.
I can tell you I'm annoyed that Castro still has his name coming up on Phillies articles.
I mean, listen, we wasted a trade for him. Might as well just keep him in the minors. Good depth.
They just keep bringing them back. They released them and then they brought them back. Then they sent them to like spring training 6 months early. Like it was bad, man. Like, dude, you gotta get so much work. Go to Clearwater by yourself. There's nobody else down there. You can just run around the stadium by yourself. Have fun.
I mean, that honestly does sound pretty fun.
Sonic did it in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
There's probably only 2 people out of that whole entire thing that's gonna make the roster.
Make the roster?
Opening day or just at some point?
Opening day.
Okay.
And that's gonna be Andrew Painter.
No.
I don't think he makes opening day.
Yeah. He's
Really?
healthy.
I agree, but like,
where is he start? Where is he pitching?
Is he coming out of the bullpen? Because then that makes sense. If we don't go after Tanner or Estevez, I guess I could see.
I swear to God, if they waste Andrew Painter as a bullpen arm, I'll be so.
No, he's gonna be like 2 or 3 innings to start. And then it's going to be like Taijuan Walker piggybacking off them.
No, shut the fuck up. All right, no. Taijuan Walker is not making this roster. He's not playing he's not a Philly anymore, dude.
He's making a team. He's making a team.
He's going to be on the fucking IL for like the entire season. Like they're going to make him trip over a fucking bat in spring training and break his elbow.
He makes too much money, man. He's going to be on the opening day roster.
Cut him, dude. What? Makes too much money for what? To make us lose? That's great. Wonderful. I'd rather pay him all this money to sit on the goddamn bench.
I completely agree.
Let him be the Walmart greeter at the top of the fucking steps. I don't care. He's not pitching in another inning for the Phillies.
Well,
it's not happening.
Let's take Painter out of the conversation. Who gets bumped out of the 5 guys we got now? Because you have Ranger, Sanchez, Nola, Wheeler, and Jesus. So where would Walker fit in on that starting lineup anyway? Or are we doing a 6-man?
He fucking doesn't. He doesn't fit because he doesn't belong on the team. We don't go get a starting pitcher if we're starting Taijuan fucking Walker. Okay,
Taijuan
it doesn't
Walker's
happen.
your closer.
Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's the even worse decision than having him as my fucking starter, because that's all he was. He was just like opener. That's the term. 'Cause that's all he was. He was a fucking opener.
He's
Yeah.
a closer for the
terrible opener
14-0
at that,
game.
too.
He's goddamn turnstile. That's what he was. Piece of shit. Hate Taiwan Walker.
So we haven't really bitched about him lately, so that was nice to get that back into our
Yeah,
system.
the Twitter account
but
kinda
like
went
dead,
dead too.
but dead serious. Like, how do you see Andrew Painter starting this season with us?
Go back to the same thing with the Walker issue. You've already got
He was-
Sanchez, Jesus, Nola, Wheeler, and Ranger.
He was going to start the season with us last year.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was never planning to start the season with us.
Was it him over Sanchez?
No,
he was never.
Sanchez-
He was never starting the season with us. He was going to come up during the season, but he was never starting the season with us.
I think he was going to start.
If he was going to start, Walker wasn't around, so that's where he would have started.
Oh yeah, because he started late in spring training, right?
He just didn't. He started late in the season. He was out for like a month.
Yeah, we had Turnbull in our starting rotation.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, if Painter was going to do it, but he still wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was.
He was
officially,
out.
Like,
Yeah, he was Tommy John the whole entire year. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, he would have been on the opening day roster.
absolutely not.
But if you're trying to get him on the opening day, let's just say hypothetically they say yes, we want you to be on our opening day roster. Who's getting the bump? Ooh,
Probably
what's that?
Ranger.
To the bullpen or
Bullpen?
trading his ass?
Yes.
I don't think they just paid Ranger what they paid in arbitration to make him a bullpen pitcher. If you want to talk about people making quote unquote too much money, you're not going to pay that to an arbitration bullpen guy. I mean, I agree. In this scenario, Andrew Painter is in our starting rotation. It should be Ranger that goes to the bullpen, because you're not going to you don't pay Sanchez the money you pay him to go to the bullpen. He's not a bullpen guy.
But also, Painter's not coming here to start, and he's not going to go 7 innings to start out. He's going to be 2 or 3 innings.
And that's why you don't bring him to the MLB to start the season until he can go his 5 or 6 innings that he's projected to be a starting pitcher for. Why not pitch him in AAA? Make sure he's healthy. Make sure he's good. And you ultimately know that one of these 5 guys is going to go on the fucking IL at some point, and then you could be like, boom, let's go, Painter. You're pitching for us now. I mean, it's good to have depth. Like, it's good to have it, especially down in the minor leagues. I don't think there's no reason to push Painter into unless he comes out in spring training and he is just fucking lights out, mowing everyone down, and he can go 6-7 innings. Then sure, bring him up.
Even if he can go 6, I don't think they're going to let him.
No, they're gonna. He's on it. I mean, he's coming off Tommy John, so they're gonna give him a restriction.
Yeah.
So, what do you think they do with Taiwan? Is it just going to be hey, we've come to terms and best on your future endeavors with him, or?
I think they're gonna give him spring training, and then they're gonna give him the fucking boot when they have someone to replace him.
Okay.
And that's what I think happens. So I mean, okay, maybe he'll pitch another inning in a Phillies uniform, but not a real game.
What if he bounces back? What do you think happens? I don't think he is. I'm not getting on the Taiwan Walker hype train, but in some
can't even
kind
say
of
that he's going to bounce back, because he had that one good game or the 2 good games out of the bullpen, and then they put him back in the starting rotation, and they got shelled.
yeah, but he's doing the Ben Simmons hype video you keep telling me about.
I mean, unless they're really gonna bump full time him in the bullpen. I mean, if you start the season that way, then maybe maybe there's a roster spot for him. But I ultimately think that they give him the spring training cut. Like, at the end of spring training, they go, okay, everyone's healthy. Like, we have the 5 guys that we're supposed to have. Fuck it, you're out, dude. Like, we're just gonna cut ties with you. That's what I hope they at least do.
It'd be nice.
I hope so too, but I don't see it.
All right, but
then what do they do with him?
Taiwan fucking cool.
If they don't cut him, what do they do with him then?
Bullpen.
Who would you remove out of the bullpen to put him in there?
You're not removing anyone because you're already down.
You're fucking what? Ortiz? Like, so he's gonna be a fucking long reliever. So it's like one of those guys that's like on the fucking brink that can go up and down. I don't even remember. Like,
I think it's only Kirkering that can go up and down? I think Ortiz is out of options.
Well, then fucking he starts in the minors, so that way we have an option on him. I guess I don't know how that fully works, but
I'm just curious. I'm playing devil's advocate because I have both you here, so you guys can fight over what's going to happen. And I'm just curious if, let's just say they're too stubborn and don't want to eat that dollar. I'm just kind of curious as what they were going to do with him, unless he's like a water boy.
they're fucking stupid if they try to be stubborn about this.
Uh,
You're already eating the money. Like that's the thing. Like he's less of a detriment to you if he's just not pitching for you.
I would be 100% on your side if they're not trying to run back the team that keeps failing in the postseason.
I mean,
it's tough.
I do. Yeah.
Because I honestly, you cut ties with it. You're losing that money either way. And if he's gonna be a negative to the team, get rid of him. Like there's no reason to like a guaranteed fifth loss when you're already trying to run it back.
But the thing that I'll contradict that idea, the one that you just had was like, okay, yeah, they keep failing in the postseason, but they're producing, I guess, until that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's not like we're gonna go cut Kyle Schwarber because like he messed up in the postseason. He's still giving you 30 and whatever, 30 and 100 RBIs.
He's getting you there.
He's getting you there. Like he's a part of the reason you get there. Like it'd be one thing if like just Kyle Schwarber was fucking up, but it's the entire team. Like it's everyone that's just shutting down for whatever reason when you get to a certain point in the postseason.
Yeah, which is to me is crazy. And we thought that he would do something. I didn't honestly believe we were going to sign Juan Soto, but you thought they would make at least a semi-big move to like re-inject some vigor into this team. But it's essentially
I genuinely thought with Soto we were going to be a finalist. I didn't think we were going to sign him, but I thought we were going to be in the conversation of the the 5 teams that he was actually meeting with and taking like serious meetings. I think they sent him an offer, and then it probably wasn't anywhere close to what the rest of the teams were, and then that was it. That was really all we had. We had a couple tea with them, not really anything serious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be in the conversation too, or I also thought there was going to be some kind of splash coming, especially because of how often you heard them trying to trade Bohm.
It's trade, man. It's trade. The big splash that we do this offseason, season, whenever it happens, there's going to be a big trade.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way, and if we don't do anything, there's no way Dombrowski comes back. Like there's absolutely no way that if I'm John Middleton, I'm like, you're running this team adequately because we just keep running it the fuck back. Like, no, like you have to do something big over the course of this season, and you have to make a change. Like not a fucking let's go trade for Estevez and fucking Rodolfo Castro at the goddamn trade deadline. Like no, like you have to. Not saying it's him, but you have to get like a Mike fucking Trout. Like you have to go get the big name, a Luis Roberts or a Crockett from last season. Like those are the types of players that, if you notice the teams that are in the World Series and are doing it, they went and got these guys, like the Yankees went out and they traded for fucking a bunch of people that contributed to them getting to the World Series. The Mets, they went out and got a bunch of people that contributed to them going to the World, getting deep in the playoffs. So it's pissed me off every year at the trade deadline because we just don't do anything. We do these little deals that we think that are like, like nothing against Brandon Marsh. But I mean, actually, Brandon Marsh is a good example. We traded for him in 2022, and he was, I don't want to say a major part, but he was a helpful part in getting us to the World Series because Mickey Moniak wasn't fucking doing what he was doing. Like that, we were having an issue in center field. Like we weren't getting him. Roman Quinn wasn't going to do any of the things that he was doing. So it's, big moves like that happen. Arizona, Paul Sewald. That's the one that I like keep throwing out there. And it's also a sneaky name that I think we could sign in our bullpen. But Paul Sewald, he fucking destroyed us. And he was a trade deadline move. So.
And Tommy Pham too. That was big for them.
He's big for everyone. Because he's always the trade deadline move for everyone. If you ever notice, Tommy Pham always signs with a shitty team because he's going to get the most money, and then he ends up getting traded to a playoff contender at the deadline every year.
Yeah,
man understands business. Final thoughts this week. Next week we'll be back to talk a little bit about Hall of Fame results and hopefully some breaking news or any other kind of news that the Phillies doing. But just anything else you want to talk about before we sign off for the week?
I'm curious on Erik's second person that was making the roster from that invitee.
I agreed with what you were saying, Kroon.
Kroon? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, because outside of Kroon, I didn't see anyone else that was like,
there's nobody else on that list. The only other one I think was that Paul McIntosh, the catcher that they were talking about that they're pretty high on. I think they signed him this year to be like a competition for Stubbs, but that's basically, I guess, between Stubbs and Marchand. But I think McIntosh was brought in to kind of push him a little higher.
I think my boy Griff he doesn't make opening day roster, but I think he gets an invite. He pops up at some point.
Well, they've been saying that for years, haven't they?
Nah, he's just been because he was in the Painter draft class, I believe. If not, maybe Mick Abel was Abel. Maybe it was Mick Abel.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. That was supposed to be like.
Yeah, Mick Abel was supposed to be the one that was competing with Painter to come up in the majors.
And then
he's not on that list.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about that. That's kind of surprising that he's not on the list. I don't know if he has maybe an injury going on. So they're just keeping him in the minors, but
he fell off the face of the earth, man. He had like a 8 ERA. It was insane. It was high.
I'm gonna just hold out for my boy Otto.
Otto Kemp.
Yeah, I just keep seeing the Simpsons guy, so I'm rocking with him. But that'll do it for us this week on the Jersey Phanatics. We got the whole crew back together, talking free agency, prospects, and fuck Jeff Hoffman. What you got going on, Mr. Berezzo?
I got nothing.
What you got going on, Mr. Freed?
Life be life and dog, so I just have life things going on.
Nice. Check out basementprotocolproductions.com for all the projects we're working on. Jersey Phanatics drops every Wednesday. We got streaming back up live on twitch.tv/basementprotocol with Minecraft Mondays as a guarantee. And then other streams by yours truly, such as Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And we're going to be doing the new Donkey Kong Country on Thursday. The other thing is there is no weekly protocol this week due to technical difficulties, but thankfully I brought a sound guy in and we'll be filming this weekend, so we'll be back.
Fucking audio problems, am I right?
Just wait until I hang up this call and tell you none of the audio was captured. That's what we did 3 hours on Saturday.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. We've done that.
That we did.
Done that years ago.
Several times, man. It is a BPP tradition. So hopefully we got it out of the way for 2025.
Gotta be at least one a year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Frank's fault this time, though, because he said we were good to go. Wasn't me.
Fucking Frank.
Because I immediately tapped out and went, this ain't working, so you want to call it quits? Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week on the Jersey Phanatics. I've been Chris the Dace Man Dace. He's been Erik Berezzo.
Bye-bye.
He's been Tyler Freed.
Toodles.
We've been the Jersey Phanatics. We'll see you next time, Basement Dwellers. Stick to the protocol. Ring that bell.
Ding-a-ling, ling, ling, ling.
See you next time.